I'm here to talk about the Health and Safety at Work Act because this is 50 years since that important part of legislation came out. First of all, I'd like to start with apologies. Sam Peace, the head of the Energy Division, was hoping to talk at this, but she's had to go to Norway for an event with HSE that she couldn't get out of, so she'd like to pass on her good wishes for the day and apologies for not being able to be here today. What I'll do is I'll give you a bit of history on the Health and Safety at Work Act, where it come from, why it's there, and how it works, and I'll try and give you what I think is important parts of the legislation, or the Act as a lot of people call it, affecting the safety reps. So it all kicked off with the Factories Act back in 1833, and it wasn't until I was researching some of this for the talk that I realised that parts of the Factories Act were still in force up until 2008. So it's not like a lot of these things have gone away. It was put into place. There was 3 inspectors for the whole it was England at the time that was covering, they were covering mostly anyway, working hours for children. So if with the Factories Act, they managed to get children from the age of 9 to 13 only had to work 8 hours a day, and from 13 to 18 you only had to do 12 hours a day. You know, so pretty good. The hardest part of that legislation, which I think will be a recurring theme through this, was allowing the inspectors to talk to the workforce. That was the most disputed part of it. The companies didn't want to do that. They didn't mind them going in and looking at things, but they didn't want them speaking to people. The Factories Act, 16 times that was updated, up until the last update was 1961. And then the next big bearings on the what is now the Health and Safety at Work Act was the Aberdeen disaster in Wales. Like see there, 21st October, 144 died, 116 were children. Massive outcry from the public. Lord Robbins, who did the report for the Safety and Health at Work, which preceded the Health and Safety at Work Act, was chairman of the National Coal Board. And during that time, at the beginning of it, the National Coal Board were saying, we're going to help, we're going to do everything to compensate the families, anything that's necessary. That did not happen. What actually happened was there was a lot of obstacles put in the way. The organisation of it, the compensation of it was not done well. And there was a massive outcry, and his reputation was trashed from the public because of that. And I think, I mean, credit the guy, he kept going, and as I'll come on to later on. One of the things we Aberdeen as well, and this could even be related to today with Grenfell, there was previous incidents, there was previous concerns getting raised by the public. They were talked out of it for pushing it further, saying they're going to close the pit. The spill heap was on wet ground. There was severe heavy weather, bad weather with rain that had previous incidents, but the chill still kept on. And then once the avalanche started moving, there's no stopping. There's no stopping that. Go on, Flixborough. that came in, so the Health and Safety at Work Act was written by then, but hadn't passed through Parliament. But that was one of the main justifications, if you like, on getting it through Parliament. They were, I'm not saying they were happy, but they were certainly justified. It wasn't until then, process safety wasn't even part inspections. You couldn't go and inspect process safety plants. Offices weren't part of inspections. You couldn't go and inspect them either. So as things moved on, and unfortunately, like a lot of these things, it's through public outcry. The thing we need to try and get away with in the safety side of matters is it shouldn't be taking disasters until you get major parts of legislation to come in. And that's unfortunately the case. And you could argue to this day, it's still the case. So there we go, 1st October, this come out. So I'll not read all this, but this is your Health and Safety at Work Act, which is 2,349 pages, are the thinnest pages you'll ever get in a book in your life. And it was there, put into place from the Robbins report, which was very thorough and very, very good and laid the way for the Health and Safety at Work Act to get into place. And it did have an effect right away. It started reducing incidents. It put the onus on the duty holders, the factory owners, to reduce risk. It's a goal-setting piece of legislation to bring things to lower the risk as low as reasonably practicable, which I'm sure everybody's heard of sitting in this room. But again, one of the most important parts of that was bringing in the workforce. Ensuring that it's enshrined in the Health and Safety at Work Act, setting up safety representatives and safety committees, because that reduces incidents. Founded the HSE. The HSE came into force the 1st of January next year, but it consolidated health and safety inspectorates to this day, which is still governed by the HSE. We're governed by the government, employers' organisations, and the trade unions, and they get together and set if there's any new future regulations, any parts, updates that need done to the Health and Safety at Work Act, or new regulations that may get added. I think the last update was 2021. Things were added to it. So mainly for reps, what you should know, I would feel as a safety rep, is the sections of the Health and Safety at Work Act that really get used most is Section 2, because that's the duty on employers to ensure safety of their employees. Section 2.2 covers most things with maintenance, access, egress, and information, instruction, training, safe working practices, exposure, transport is covered in A to E. Your health and safety policies, now that's enshrined. Every company's got to do this and follow this. 4.2, safety reps, the appointment of safety reps, the consultation in 2.6 of safety reps, and setting up a safety committee. And like, we still go offshore, and I certainly do a lot of inspections offshore and onshore, inspecting safety reps, safety committees side of things. And one of the recurring themes is consultation. Consultation runs through everything. If companies are to consult the workforce in a proper manner, then use the safety committees. Use the safety committees like it should be and how it was set up to be. General duties to non-employees. So if you're a contractor, you're a non-employee. Members of the public, non-employees. So if whatever kind of industry you're working in, there will be non-employees on the site. Generally, nearly, I would say, and I'm no speaking for the whole HSE here, but in my experience, I would say 95% enforcement, improvement notices, prosecutions will be done under sections 2 AAE or section 3 of the Health and Safety at Work Act. If companies can assure themselves and safety reps can assure themselves that these aspects are being covered, then generally you'll be in a good place. Section 6, design manufacturers. Section 7, employees. You have a duty to, as workers, to conduct yourself in a safe manner. Section 8, not to misuse anything that's provided for health and safety, and not to charge for health and safety. And it's ridiculous to this day we still get get questioned for people that feel they're getting hassle for work because they're going to have to charge for certain things that should be provided for health and safety in their workplace. Inspectors' powers, we've got 13 powers that we use, from entering premises, taking the police with if we needed, taking anybody else with if needed, or leave undisturbed, question witnesses, could question witnesses under oath, so we could go through any of them, take things into possession, leave undisturbed, and goes on. If you go down, I think HSL sometimes let members of the public into them, and they've got a place in there that's like a massive warehouse. It tends to be a hell of a lot of forklifts. There's the banisters for Hillsborough in there. There's lots of parts of machinery that have been involved in people's unfortunate deaths that are still kept because there may be future prosecutions or future events. So all these things still get kept, and that's through inspectors using their powers. INs and PNs, so improvement notices, prohibition notices, that was not in place before the Health and Safety at Work Act. Inspectors didn't have the powers to do any of them. The offences, 33, look at the offences things. The offences things is basically going back for what's in 2 to 8, really, for making it sort of simplest. Information and consultation from the HSE. HSE inspectors have a responsibility wherever they're going to talk to the workforce, and will still come across, maybe not so much on the offshore side of the industry, but on the onshore side of the industry, quite regularly hear about people never meeting inspectors, never getting information from inspectors, not knowing they're there, not knowing they've been there. That is wrong. HSE inspectors have the duty under the Health and Safety at Work Act 28 to talk to workforce or workforce representatives. If you feel that the HSE are not doing their part of the Health and Safety at Work Act, pull them up, write to them, email them, You know, do that, because we have a duty. And like I say, and I'll come on to things, where there's active reps and supported reps and the system works, there's less incidents everywhere. Everywhere. The reverse burden of proof, I put that in because that's a very unique part of legislation that is only found in the Health and Safety at Work Act. That is where, so health and safety law is always criminal law. Very occasionally it might get brought into civil law, but it's criminal law. So the burden of proof is on the prosecution, HSE, or the Procurator Fiscal in Scotland, to prove that a company's done wrong. So they have to prove. But in certain aspects of health and safety law, we could use Section 40, which is then you turn to the company and say, you have to prove to us, you have done everything as low as reasonably practicable to prevent the incident. So the duty's on them to prove they've done everything, not on us to say that they haven't done everything, which is unusual in other parts of criminal law. So, as you could see on this graph, phase 74, 651, it went down 111 in 20 to 21. It's going up again. The figures for this year are 130, 23 to 24 are 138 people have died going to work. As you can see, I'll not read all that out, but still so many injuries, so many days lost, billions and billions of pounds are cost to the economy for this. And the evidence shows everywhere that where you've got active safety reps and active safety committees, there's less incidents. Safety reps do make a difference. Reducing industries, improve health, but raising things, and to raise things, the consultation from the very beginning needs to run through right to the very end. Use the safety committees, use the tools you have. If you feel you're not getting the tools, then question it. And again, the best part of the safety committee is you're raising things on behalf of the people you represent at a safety committee meeting. Don't raise anything on behalf of yourself. The only thing that I would suggest that safety reps should be raising for themselves is their training requirements, because training should be covered in every safety committee meeting. Do that. The companies will be saving money. The companies will be saving time. The workforce will be a hell of a lot happier when there's good safety record in the place, and the people you're representing will see what you're doing and making things hopefully better for the place you work.